You're looking at the calls too. What do you think? You want to do a Bigfoot call?
Yeah, let's do Bigfoot.
Dude, let's talk with Robert down in North Carolina. It looks like Robert, you were on with Jim and Secular Rarity. What's up, man?
Well, we're doing pretty good. We're working a little bit tonight. How you guys doing?
We're working ourselves.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad to see you and be amongst working people.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, what do you got for us, man? Have you come across Bigfoot? Do you have maybe some footprints or something? What's going on?
Well, actually, on my phone, I do have one or two pictures that could be big footprints. I'm not going to say that they are, and I'm not going to say that they aren't. To give a small background on myself, back in 2007, I formed a paranormal team called Go Dark Paranormal Investigations out of Western North Carolina. And we'd been investigating paranormal for quite a few years. In 2012, we decided we was going to try to, investigate and see if there's any truth in on these cryptid tales. Well, in 2019, there's another Bigfoot group come out called Bigfoot 911 out of McDowell County, North Carolina. And I got up with two members of them. We went into this one particular area. We were just going to go in there to see if, in fact, there was enough evidence like footprints or unidentified hair in a barbed wire fence or something other of that nature to warrant for us to go in on an investigation. Well, granted, we wasn't really and truly prepared. This was right in the middle of deer season, right around November of 2019. We went into this area, and on both sides of the trail, it's straight up and down on both sides. I mean, I know you guys probably don't much know about Southern dialect, but as far as we say down here in the South, it was so steep, a billy goat would have trouble in four-wheel drive going up and down either side of those hills.
Jim and I are both pretty Southern. We got you.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm a Southern as they come, and I'm not going to change for anybody, to be honest. But we walked probably 3 or 4 miles up into this big open hollow back up in there, and the sun was getting pretty low in the sky. And I turned around and looked at Brad. I said, "Did you bring a flashlight?" I said, "I forgot mine." He stood there a minute and he said, "Oh crap." Well, this is like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and the sun was already starting to set, and it got pitch black dark at 5:35. I mean, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face at 5:35 in the afternoon. So I said, we'll go on up through here a little bit more. We weren't having too much luck. We found a few trees that were snapped off that we'd stand there looking, thinking, could that be the wind? Because we hadn't had no weird weather in a pretty good while, and it looked like pretty fresh breaks. Well, all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, the way the sun was shining, I see something other blonde-looking color glistening out of the corner of my eye. And I just turned my head and looked about halfway up on the ridge, about 110 yards out. And all of a sudden, I just elbowed Brad. I said, are you seeing what I'm seeing? I said, is this what we've been looking for? He looks up and he says, yes, my friend, that is exactly what you're looking at. This creature was light blonde in color from the top of its head to the end of its toes. Looked like the size of anywhere between a 5 to an 8-year-old kid. Built like a professional wrestler. I mean, there were muscles on this creature that I didn't even know anything could have muscles in. It runs across this log. Log's probably 25 feet long, give or take. Runs across this log and does a head first dive into a laurel thicket. Hits the ground just exactly like a cat. No noise, no nothing. Now, take in mind now, this is November 2019. Leaf litter is thick on the ground, and you can hear a squirrel at 80 yards in the woods playing. I mean, you can't go through the woods at that time of year without making any noise. So I'm standing there plumb perplexed, because this is the first time I've ever encountered anything like this. And I said, Brad, are we seeing things, or was that what we're seeing? He said, yes. He said, that's exactly what we saw. So as we start to turn to ask his brother Nick if he saw the same thing, I see something else in the corner of my eye, about 35, 40 feet off to the right, where that individual, creature, I should say, took off running. There's another one with it. This creature is about 4 foot wide across its shoulders, light brown color. Only thing I could see was about the waist up. This thing looks at all three of us, back straight up against a big old oak, and that oak that it backed up to, you couldn't reach around it. No, there's no way one human could reach around that oak. And just slunk straight down into the ground and disappeared into the laurel thicket where they was at. I turned around, I looked at Brad, I said, what do you think was going on? He said, here's my opinion. And Brad's a member of the Bigfoot 911 team, and so is his brother Nick. He said, I believe, he said, they was up there a-playing, he said, or just hanging out doing whatever they do. He said, and we startled them. I said, Brad, I said, do you have your wood knocking stick? He said, it's like my American Express card, dude. He said, I don't leave home without it. I said, step up there, I said, to that maple, I said, and give it a pop. I said, see what happens. He said, all right, well, the maple is about 16 to 18 feet above where we was at on the trail. He goes up there and he hits that tree about 3 times. I said, now hush. I said, let's see what happens. Lo and behold, 80 yards above where the juvenile went into the bushes, we get 3 tree knocks back. Well, this gets us all 3 excited. We're like, hot dog. We've not had this happen before. Well, Brad says, well, let's go up through there. I said, Brad, wait a minute. I said, you remember what your daddy said? He said, oh, yeah. He said, these things hunt in packs like wolves. I said, we're surrounded. I said, if they want to get us, we are going to get got. We don't have a flashlight. I said, the only light that we have is our cell phone. The only camera we have is our cell phone. And a lot of people that's asked me when I've told this story, well, why didn't you get pictures? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Guys, I'm gonna be just as honest as I can possibly be, and this is no BS to it. When you see something other like this, a camera is the last thing to go through your mind saying, oh God, I need to grab my camera, because you're sitting there your mind is going into a complete meltdown thinking, am I hallucinating? Am I actually seeing this? I've seen rabbits, I've seen squirrels, I've seen deer, I've seen bear, I've seen about anything in the woods that's native to Western North Carolina. I've seen bobcats slip up on snowbirds. You name it, I've seen it. I have never seen anything on this planet move that quick, that agile, and that fast. I mean, in a blink of an eye, he was from one end of that log to the other end, made a head first dive into that laurel thicket, hit the ground just like a cat, never made a sound.
I've
seen
jump in for a
bobcats
second?
do that plenty of times.
Can I jump in for a second, Robert?
Yes,
Because
sir, you sure can.
it sounds like it definitely sounds like an experience, like one of those, there's 5 people standing around and the car runs into the storefront, and 5 people now have all kinds of, they say, wow, we saw sparks. And the next guy goes, well, it was a blue car. And the next guy says, whatever the hell he says. But I am wondering about this. I thought you started off the story by saying you guys were out there like intentionally looking to find something like this. Was I misunderstanding that, or is that why you were out there?
Well, our original intention, we wasn't exactly looking for the creature itself. We were looking to see if the area may have possibly had those creatures. We were looking for footprints or we was looking for tree structures or something along those lines. As far as actually going in prepared to look for this creature, we wasn't prepared. We were caught completely, teetotally off guard.
So you
and
okay?
That is
Okay.
the God's
So
honest gospel truth.
right.
Okay.
So you said that the leaves are on the ground. You couldn't move without making a sound. This thing dived into a thicket without making a sound. That all sounds like
Right.
this thing is somehow or other violating the laws of physics and not making a sound. How would it be possible for a creature to do the things just in terms of making a sound, diving into a thicket? How is it possible a creature could do that? Any creature, how would it be possible for that to happen?
Very easily. A bobcat or any other type of animal like that knows how to shift the weight when they hit the ground. That's just like with the Native Americans. That's just like Geronimo. They followed him into a middle of a field. And back then, they didn't have John Deere riding lawnmowers and, Massey Ferguson's and this, that, and the other. You follow somebody into a field, the weeds may be 10 foot tall.
Right.
All right. He would bury up into the grass, and the cavalry would be standing within 6 inches of him and couldn't find him.
But so here's kind of my point, though. You said that wasn't possible. That was your phrase. You said it wasn't possible to move through without making any noise. And now you're saying it is possible by simply shifting your weight.
Well, let me rephrase that, because you may have misunderstood me. Most humans, when they go in the woods, whether they're looking for something other or whether they're just out there just for the heck of it per se, 9 times out of 10 you're not paying attention on how you're walking. If a creature like that, according to Native American folklore and all the cave drawing evidence and everything, supposedly been around for 1,600 years or longer, and supposedly, according to folklore, that the Native Americans did in fact trade with these creatures until somebody betrayed the other. I'm not sure whether the Bigfoot got betrayed or whether the Native Americans got betrayed by the Bigfoot. I don't know. I'm not, well educated on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
They, you talk about any Indian in the woods, you're going to notice he's got a different gait than what most anybody else has got.
So
they know how to shift the weight, they know how to walk, and they can slip up on you in a heartbeat.
But just kind of to Jim's question there, it sounds like what Jim was saying was, at first you said the fact that this creature could do this thing, this ability to, move so fast and just be so silent about it. At first it kind of sounded like you said that was one of the things that made you say this had to be, something special, something different. But then it seems to be the case that you feel really comfortable. Like it sounds like a lot of people can do this. Like we've just got lots of evidences of various people throughout history. So is that ability for that creature to move so quickly and so silently, is that really that fantastical of a thing? Or is it something that apparently just with enough training, an animal or a person could do it? Does that make sense?
Well, if you're born in an environment that involves nature 99.9% of the time, yes, it's possible for any woodland creature to do that. I've been sitting in a deer stand plenty of times, and leaf litter on the ground in the wintertime, be sitting there, be watching deer trails and everything, and then all of a sudden you hear a stick pop. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, where did that come from? And turn my head and look over my left or right shoulder. There'd be a deer standing right there that didn't even come up the trail.
Yeah.
How that deer come up through there as stealthy, it knows what it's doing. Okay. Let's put this in a different perspective. Let's just say that
in this case with the deer, can I ask you a question about this? In this case with the deer, was your mind wandering at that point?
Absolutely. I was sitting there trying to figure out how that devil snuck up on me without me hearing it.
No, before the twig snapped, was your mind wandering and were you thinking about something else?
I was just sitting there watching squirrels play.
Right. So you weren't paying attention. Wouldn't you say
Yeah.
it's easy to sneak up on someone who's not paying attention?
It's very easy to do that, even with somebody that is paying attention. Let's take serial killers, for example.
Well,
They
I
sneak
kind
up
of want.
on the person they want, but I mean, that's a horse of a different color.
Right. And my point is, how do you know that you were paying attention well enough to your surroundings that a deer couldn't have come galloping up, making up all kinds of noise, and you just weren't paying attention until you heard the twig snap?
Well, anything's possible.
Sure.
Right, because people, drive cars and can't remember how they got home, right? This is a known phenomenon. It doesn't mean you're driving unsafe. It just means that your mind is not processing everything for memory, to put it into memory. And so this kind of goes back to
I totally agree with that.
Okay, but that just goes back to my question. You had a deer sneak up on you. I don't think that it is necessarily the skill of the deer that allowed that, right? It was a combination of a deer probably moving carefully through the woods and you not paying attention that allowed that to happen. I don't know that it's necessarily the stealth skills of a deer.
Well, I don't rightfully know how to answer that, to be honest.
Well,
Okay.
I think that is awesome, honestly, Robert. I think that experience right there of being asked a really good question that makes you sit back for a second and go, well, damn, let me think on that. And I will ask if you want to. I know I have had fun hanging out and listening, and it sounds like you might even have a couple of other stories, especially some of those groups and stuff. Would you want to come hang out here again? Maybe 7 p.m. Central Time, right here on this awesome channel every Tuesday. Maybe not every Tuesday, Robert. You don't have to commit to that. We just met, but
I would be honored to be on your show at any given time if you gentlemen would be willing to have me back.
I think we would love it, and there are some other wonderful hosts that would really enjoy that too. So, thank you so much, Jim. Was there anything else you wanted to say before we grab somebody else?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Because anything else I had to say is going to be a longer conversation.
Yeah,
and we do
we're
need
gonna
to
start
move
down a
on.
whole other. That's right. That's right.
Right.
Call us back, man.
All righty. You gentlemen have a good night and be safe now.
All right, you too.